Hey there, I'm Carolyn Banner from Body by Banner, and I'm going to be doing about 5-minute warm-up followed by a 20-minute metabolic conditioning workout that is just going to use one pair of moderate to heavier dumbbells. So I hope you can join with me. We're going to jump right into it. So we'll do 5-minute warm-up. I'm just setting my timer here for 5 minutes, and we're going to move through some just ways to get the legs and the upper body. So we want to really focus on especially the hips. So you're going to come down to a squat. I like to just rotate from side to side, starting to open up through the hips. So just pivoting, reaching one knee forward, switching. You can gently push the back knee open if you want. Starting to get a little bit more open and deeper into the stretch, and then eventually holding here into a twist. So reaching the arm up and back behind you. Good, and then switch sides. Spine is cracking too. Yeah, and then coming back through center, and then kind of nestling down into a squat, holding a little deeper for a deeper stretch, and then standing. We're gonna do 5 squats. So nice deep squat, and then stand up. Good. I'm gonna show you from the side a couple times. So nice deep squat. Reach the butt behind you, and then stand. Good, and then getting the heart rate up a little bit more, we're going to come into butt kickers. Good, so just bringing the heels up behind you, going for about 20 seconds or so. So we're going to get the blood pumping through the body. Get the heart rate up a little bit, get the joints warmed up, and ready to hold the weights. All right, we're going to do side lunge with a reach without any weights. Of course, to warm up. We're going to be doing this movement during the circuit with weights. So big reach across, reach, reach. Okay, we're going to do about 4 more. I've got a bit of a cold that I'm still working through. So my lungs are a little restricted, it feels like. Okay, we're going to come into some Cossack squats. I love these for warming up the hips a little bit more, getting the inner thighs and hamstrings warmed up. So you might hear me being a little bit more out of breath today, and that's just, well, my conditioning's not quite as great right now. Haven't been working out quite as hard or as regularly as I would like to with all the holidays and our move. But good, and then reach through the center and roll up. But also, anytime you're sick, you gotta cut yourself a little bit of slack because our bodies are just, you need to repair and get better. And usually the first thing you might notice, especially if you have a head cold, is that you get out of breath a lot faster. It's just harder to get that oxygen in, feels like. Okay. So regular jumping jacks, nothing too fancy. Again, for about 20 seconds here. And then we're gonna release. All right. Warming up through the wrists, so big fists. And we're going to do about 5 to 10 circles forward, and then 5 to 10 the other direction. Pulling the shoulders down and back, reverse the direction. Big reach through the arms. Yeah, and then pull the fingers back like you're pushing against the wall, like Samson, if you know that story. And circle forward. Try and let the ribs settle underneath the shoulders, pull the belly in, and reverse it back. This is a nice one for warm up the forearms. And then big reach across. We're going to come back into jumping jacks actually with these. So hands together, feet together, and then open. Together and open. Good, and really try and resist. Nice strong arms as you open, warming up through the chest. And the upper back a little bit. Okay, just a few more. And release. Okay, arm circles forward. And reverse. And we're going to go into forward lunge with a push and a pull back as you step back. So push forward like you're pushing against a wall, and pull back like you're really actually pulling like a rubber band or something with resistance. Back. Good. Couple more. Okay, and we're going to get to rotational movement. So I'm going to turn to the side here. And I want you to have your elbows out, palms flat, turn, and reach the hand behind you. I'm going to finish. That's just my timer. So it's almost, imagine like you're going to pull like a bow and arrow behind you and shoot. So just reaching back, keep the ribs pulled in, stomach nice and contracted, reach back. Reach back. So you should get a stretch through the neck, shoulders, trapezius, center. So I'm trying to keep my hips from twisting. It's my ribs and my shoulders. So you want to really focus when you warm up on the two biggest joints of the body. Biggest kind of areas of the body are the shoulders and the upper body, and the hips and the lower body. So that's why we did the squats, the Cossack squats, kind of the squats that we rotate. So these kind of moving warm-ups where we're not really holding for long periods of time, we're moving through stretches rather than holding statically. So that's a really important part of your warm-up. You want to be dynamic and moving, not static. You want to save the static stretching for the end. Grab a sip of water, and we're going to get started. All right, if you feel like you needed more of a warm-up, like if you've been sitting for a long time, definitely maybe repeat that or add in some more dynamic movements like high knees, more jumping jacks, squats, lunges, those kind of things that are going to get the heart rate up a little bit more. But we're going to get started on the video. And I have my timer set for 1 minute intervals. We're going to go for 20 minutes total, 1 minute each movement for 5 different movements that we're going to do for 4 rounds. So you'll do them through 4 times total, and there's no structured rest. We're going to follow rest-based training, which is a style of training that I've learned from Metabolic Effect, which I love because it's really dependent on the individual pushing themselves. So you want to push as hard as you can when you're working, and then so that you have to rest. The goal is to get yourself to rest so that you have to rest, take strategic rest, and then so that you can push hard again. There's no pacing. I don't want you to be like plodding through each minute of each movement. I want you to actually push, try. You might not need to rest that first round, but probably by the second, third, and definitely by the fourth, you should be resting. If you're not resting, then you probably need to increase the weight and or maybe push the tempo a little bit. Once you get the movement patterns and you feel safe, pushing the tempo and pushing the weight. All right, enough talking. We're going to jump into this. So 5 different movements. I'm going to go right through it. First one, you are going to be doing squat to overhead press. So grab those weights. We're going to rack the weights up to the shoulders. So nice squat position. Rack the weights up to the shoulders so they're on my shoulders. Elbows come to the knees or as low down as you can, and then press overhead. So squat down and press. Knees go straight forward. Press the weights overhead. Good. So really sit the hips back. Sit the hips back. Trying to get the hips to parallel at least with the knees, and then press overhead. Good, nice strong core. This is already getting my heart rate up. My lungs and muscles are going to be burning. I can feel it by the end of this round. Oh. Awesome. Keep going. When you do heavy movements like this, compound movements, it's going to get your heart rate up. And you're going to be wondering when that minute is going to finish. Seems like it'll go by fast. And then when you're in it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking a while. Okay, so it's nice strong plank position with the hands on the weights. We're going to row each side, pull up, up. I recommend doing these on a mat and then push up so that you don't hurt your floors. So row each side, push up. Good, so even though we're focusing on the upper body, my core is nice and strong. This is a great, almost full body workout. Really hitting the upper body especially. And when you pick up the intensity by pushing a heavier weight and pushing the pace, you're going to get that heart rate up. Trust me. knees up, but you can drop down for the knees if you need to do the push-up, and then always come back up for the row on the toes. Good. All right. Quick breather. We're going to do lunges with bicep curls. So alternating forward lunges with bicep curls. All right. So lunge forward. Hold the lunge. Bicep curl. Both sides. Step back. Lunge. Bicep curl. Step back. So having to hold that lunge while you do the bicep curls, you're going to get those legs burning a bit. Triggering the release of hormones that we want so that we burn fat and build muscles. Good. Whew. So, doing lots of compound movements, which means we're working the legs and the upper body at the same time. Cool. All right, I need a quick sip. We're going to do bicep curl to overhead press. So targeting those arms a bit more. Grab those weights. We're going to go just upper body this time. Bicep curl, overhead press. This is going to get heavy fast, especially if you're sticking with a heavier weight. If you have other weights, you can certainly drop down if you need to, but I'd rather you rest and stay heavy rather than go down the weight and just work the whole minute. So I'm about to a point where I need to rest. So once my form starts to go, where I feel like I'm moving a lot to get that weight up there, I'm going to rest for a second. Just shake out the arms, release the grip on from the weights. You might notice your grip. Oh, that was a quicker one. Okay, so side lunge with a reach. So you might need to rest more or less than I am, and that's fine. This is absolutely exerciser, person dependent. It should not look exactly the same for you as it does for me. You might be more advanced. You might be using lighter weights. You might be just starting. So if you're just starting, you might even do these only with body weight and add the weights later, or start with really light weights. But generally, I think especially women, we tend to back off on the weight, or we've been told to stay lighter on the weights. And generally, I think we can go at least 5 to 10 pounds heavier than we think we can. So don't be afraid of those heavier weights, ladies. All right. Good, round 1 done. Grab a quick sip of water if you need it, or otherwise go straight into squat to overhead press as soon as you're ready. Again, I need to take a little more rest today. Still building up especially my cardio has been really a little bit less than optimal, or less than I would prefer it to be. It's just always a work in progress, right? It's not better or worse. It's just where I'm at right now. Okay. So I'm not going to talk much in this round. I'm just going to push until I need a rest. And your rest might be quicker or shorter. You want to play around with how long you rest for. Sometimes you'll need to take more frequent, shorter rests, and other times you might need to take a little bit longer rest, less frequently. Okay, 1 row each side, and 1 push-up on the knees or toes, but always on the toes for the rows. So think toes, rows, and then you go based on your level for the push-up. I want you to go low, so chest to the floor. So if you have to do that on the knees, I'd rather you go on the knees to go deep than to just be doing really shallow push-ups like that, okay? You're not going to build strength if you just stay really shallow. Keep going, you guys. Push hard until you need to rest, and then rest until you can push hard again. There's never any rush. This is your workout. Just remember, the more you can push the intensity, the more you're going to get results. Okay, lunge to bicep curl. Jump right into it if you can. As soon as you're ready, you're going to alternate lunges forward and change the angle. So lunge, hold the lunge, bicep curl, step back, bicep curl, step back. I forgot to turn down the heat before I started today. It's getting hot in here. Good. Stay low on those lunges. Aim to get the knee right over the ankle. You don't want to have it shooting forward over the toes. Good. Whew. So I'm using 7 kilo weights here, which is about 16 pounds. So for men, I would say probably starting with 20 pounds if you can. And for women, going to maybe 10, 15 pounds would be a good starting point. Okay, if I was at a gym, I'd probably try to use 20 pounds to push it. Okay, bicep curl, overhead press. And you can count, if you like numbers, count how many reps you do per round. So you can try and match it or beat it the next time. Or if you want to just get yourself distracted. So this minute of the circuit, the biceps overhead press, is to really get those muscles to failure in the upper body. So we're doubling up on bicep curls from the lunge bicep curl, squat overhead press. Now we're hitting both of them in the same minute to really get them to that point where they are getting fatigued. One more. Okay, side lunge with a reach. It's a big step to one side. Lower the weights carefully down, long, low back. Step together, other side. So my knee is tracking over my toes. So in the same line. I'll show you from the other side so you get an idea of my low, long back. So big reach as I reach forward versus rounding down. I don't want you doing this. I want you to stay long, stick the butt back, come together, stick the butt back, nice long spine. So only reach as far as you can, depending on your hip flexibility and a bit of your hamstring flexibility. All right, you guys, we're about halfway through. When it beeps, you're halfway through. I'm gonna grab some water. There it goes. Okay, round 3. Halfway through, you guys. So jump right into squat to overhead press. I'm going to be joining you in just a second. Talking and working out is not recommended as well, by the way. You can usually push yourself a bit harder when you're not talking. So you can be having a regular conversation with full sentences, and then you're probably not pushing hard enough. Nice deep squat, big press. Control down, explode up with control. So once I felt like I was losing control, I'm going to take a quick rest. You rest for as long as you need to. Might be longer or less than I do. Okay, push-ups with a row each side on the weights. Come on down. So, row. You might see me alternating which side I start with first. And that's simply to keep the body from getting into too many kind of grooves with always starting with the left first or always starting with the right first. And to make sure I'm kind of balanced, that I'm alternating which one is the first one. That's a little easier than when you get to the second one. You might not have as much strain. Okay, so quick rest, and then back into it. Try and have those elbows track back 45-degree angles versus way out to the side. So 45 instead of straight by the ribs or way out, kind of think in the middle. All right, coming to lunge with a bicep curl. So lunge it forward. Sorry, as you can hear me breathing really heavy today. Sorry, I'm just so congested. It's hard to breathe. Oli and I both are fighting these colds that I think just keep getting circulated through his preschool. It's part of having kids in school, I guess. Okay. Try and step all the way back to get those feet together. Using the core to help lift you up. And back. Quick rest for me. Come back into it as soon as you can. Awesome. Biceps to overhead press. I'm going to change the direction for you. So we're going to keep the ribs pulled in and curl overhead press. So you want to try and avoid as much as possible doing this, where you throw the chest forward. So keep it pulled in, ribs, hips, and shoulders in one line. Keep the core knit together. Think of the bottom rib and the top of the hip coming as close together as you can. So for a nice tall posture, this is the top of my hip, this is the bottom of my ribs, and those are staying stacked and pulled together with a strong core versus this happening. So keep them pulled together. So that helps you prevent compression in the low back. Keep a nice tall posture. Try to minimize swaying as much as you can. All right, side lunge with a reach. You guys getting tired? I am. Looking forward to my post-workout smoothie after this. I'm gonna throw some kale and a banana, some coconut milk, and my craving shake from Metabolic Effect. It's awesome protein shake. If you ever want to check one out, I feel like it's really great for. It's easy to digest. It tastes good. It's got lots of extra goodies in it, and none of the bad stuff that can sometimes be fillers that upset your digestion. And I don't have any affiliation with them, so I'm not pushing it for that reason, just because I like it. I only recommend things I really love. All right, 5 more minutes. Squat to overhead press. All right, you guys got this. Last 5 minutes, last minute of each exercise. Give it your best. If you're not ready, keep resting. Once you're ready, push hard. You got this, guys. Almost done. Come right back into it. So some days you might be able to push a lot harder. Other days you might need to take more rest. Just be really gentle and yourself. You might need to be gentler some days, like today. I need to be a little less critical of my performance and more gentle about the fact that I'm working out not quite at my physical best. Just because my body's still recovering. Here we go. Last minute of plank rows and push-ups. Try and control that weight down. Big push-up. Rest when you need to. So I'd rather you rest and try and stick with those full push-ups as long as you can, rather than drop to the knees. Of course, if you're getting started or really suffering on the floor, drop those knees down. I prefer modified push-ups with the hands up because it keeps the core engaged versus the knees down because the core kind of gets taken out of the equation. But in this case, it's part of a pattern, part of a kind of sequence of movements. It's easier just to drop the knees down. Okay, lunge with bicep curl. We can do this, guys. Turn back forward this time. So big step forward, bicep curl. So I came up with this workout. It's a pretty basic one. It's one of my favorites. Because it gets the whole body. Does a great job of getting the heart rate up without jumping around and doing plyometrics. But I came up with it last week for my cousin Steve at Thanksgiving. So we were together and we were talking a lot about exercise, and he really wanted some insight or some workouts that he could do in 20 minutes that he'd be way more likely to do than trying to aim for a whole hour long workout and not really get that done very often. So shorter, more intense workouts that you know you're going to be able to do more frequently and stay consistent with, in the end are a lot more effective than trying to get into the gym for an hour. Just depends on what you have available to you in terms of resources and time and all that jazz. So, but if it helps you stay compliant and consistent, then do it. Stick with those 20-minute workouts. And just really push your intensity. Use heavier weights. Give it your all for those 20 minutes. And balance it out with a nice long walk later on, maybe while you're catching up on some work calls. Or even, for me, working on my Facebook and Instagram posts, I walk while I do that. Oh my gosh. Alright, guys, last minute, almost done. 60 more seconds, and we're done. I'm going to take a quick sip of water, and then push it for the last few seconds. We got this. Alright. But those leisure walks, you guys, are really important. If you can do it right after your workout, please try to, because it gets the body cooled down right away, lowers your stress hormones. So when we're exercising, it's a stress on the body that we have to be mindful of. And for instance, cortisol gets raised while we're exercising, which is good because it's helping to burn fat and to build muscle. Not build muscle, the other hormones released, like human growth hormone and testosterone. Yay! But we don't want those cortisol levels staying elevated after our workout. Cool. So great job, you guys. 20 minutes and done. And you did a great job. So thank you so much. Again, Carolyn Banner from Body by Banner. Make sure you go for that leisure walk as soon as possible. Get the heart rate gently lowered, lower those stress hormones, and have a really nutritious snack or meal as soon as, like, within an hour if you can, after your workout, with some good protein, a little bit of healthy fats, some carbohydrates for recovery, and lots of fiber from leafy greens and other vegetables. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.